Watch the videos. Use the core content if you want to. You don't need it. The model I literally put together on YouTube that's straight right to the point. There's 41 videos. That literally is all you need. I took everything and condensed it into one individual model that will never stop working. I am not changing anything. It's not going to change. It's not going to stop working. When we have no longer any access to the marketplace, that's when it stops working. Is that plain enough for you? Is that straight to the point? You have a model that works. It's very few rules to it. You have a specific time of day to look for the setups. That's trading. That is trading. Having rules, a process, and following it. And accepting the fact that sometimes you're going to do it wrong and lose money. Guess what? That's what everybody endures. You have to go through that. And don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of that experience of, I thought I did everything right, but I lost. See, you're trying to find the video where I cover how to avoid that. When the video I put out was handling drawdown and an inevitable loss or losing streaks, something to that effect. So I'm telling you, you're going to lose money. You're going to absolutely lose money. You're going to have losing trades. You're going to have everything in the chart indicate to you that it is likely to do a specific thing, and you're going to find the courage to push the button. And when it happens, it fails. What? Yeah, it fails. What's the it? You. You did it. Your decision was wrong. The concepts didn't fail. The market didn't do you wrong. You made a decision that was inaccurate. And you have to own that. And there is liberation when a trader comes to that mindset and says, you know what? I didn't do that right. But guess what? It doesn't change anything. It just means that I had to pay for that mistake. And that mistake gives me experience. And then when I make money in the next trade or the trades after this, and I come back from that drawdown, it will be an encouragement to me that all this was a skinned knee. I got a boo-boo. I got a paper cut. It didn't remove my head cleanly and lose my account or make it impossible for me to trade again. It didn't remove your arsenal. It hones you. It makes you trust the fact that you can come back from this when you have a losing trade or a series of losing trades. Some of you are not even in a position where you've even endured that yet, but you want to go out there and rush to get an FTMO account. Like that's going to somehow magically prevent you from having drawdown. You know, if you are able to get a funded account from one of these companies, and you send the proof that you did it, I want to encourage you, and I'll retweet it because I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm just reminding you that you're learning something that doesn't have a limit to what you can do with it. But on the same side of that coin, you have to be able to manage yourself responsibly, because on the other side of that coin, you have the likelihood of losing everything and more than you have. And that part is what makes me unpopular, because I remind you every discussion, every time we get together, that this is the really real side of it all. There's risk here, and you're going to lose money, guaranteed you're going to lose money. But losing money is not losing your trading career. That's just a transaction or a series of transactions, just like losing hourly wages from being sick, car breaking down, flat tire. All that shit is an expense. But because you have made this Olympic event of trading, you've made no room. You've allocated absolutely no room for things that go wrong. Things are going to go wrong, folks. It's going to happen. You're not going to do something right. And it's going to result in a losing transaction. And if you don't know what you're doing and you rush back in there to try to fix it right away with ill-prepared experience and logic that's lacking, are you going to have blue ribbon results? No. You're probably going to have a compounded loss. And that feeds on the negative thinking that we talked about earlier. You're going to have more negative thinking and the negative thoughts that propel you into thinking, what? I can't go home and let my spouse see me with this loss. They're going to see me as soon as I come around the corner. They're going to know right away I've lost money, and they're going to ask me, and I don't want to lie to them. I don't want to have to say I lost money because they're going to give me that look. I'm being responsible with my time. I'm being responsible with this money, and I'm sticking to the rules. And if I incur a loss, I'm following the rules that help me mitigate loss and risk. So that way I don't blow the account. That way I don't fill myself up with toxic thinking, and I don't stress my spouse out, because I'm telling you, whether you like it or not, if your spouse knows that you're trading, you have now made this a team effort. And it never is easy when it's like that. Never. Now, am I saying hide things from your spouse? I didn't say that. But the Bible does say, don't let your left hand know what your right hand's doing. So you can take that how you want to interpret it. I just look at it this way. And I didn't come to you and say, I only know one way of trading. Just look at my YouTube channel. There's lots of different things you can do. You have all these other educators out there, and I'm quite certain there are some educators out there that make money, not just selling, but trading. But they're not going to be as precise as what you see me doing. And that's just the way it is. Okay. And I'm not trying to piss on them, because there's a lot of very respectful mentors out there that know I talk like this, and they don't tell talking shit. They probably think I'm full of shit. I'm a braggart and whatever, this, that, and the thing. But if we want to compare apples to oranges and oranges to apples and sit down and show what we got, there's no comparison. How do you, honestly, seriously, folks, how could you justify looking for anything else when perfection has been shown to you? This is the market. It's been cracked, deciphered, and laid out in a language that's not easy initially to learn, but once you understand the language, you can't escape it. It's infectious. It makes you feel, well, like studying is never enough. You want to get a hit off of it every day. And every time you learn something new, it's addictive. It's intoxicating, because you feel that empowerment growing. It may not be exactly right in your hands where you can go out there and use it right away, but you see it. It's growing in you. It's growing in your understanding. It's growing in your awareness of it. You're seeing it in price. And it's an encouragement. And that's all part of this process. And I had to go through that by myself. But I'm constantly blown away by how blessed I am to be in this position. Like, I am absolutely honored and blessed that you would see me as someone worth listening to. And how all this came to be, and all the people that came into my life, how the Lord touched me and put a gift in me and an understanding in something that I know that had his hand not been in it, I never would have been able to get where I'm at. And it doesn't matter who came into my life and who presented opportunities and who tipped the hand and pulled the veil back. Okay. That still wouldn't have mattered. All those things were so complex. When I first looked at them, I didn't understand what I was looking at. And I prayed, I asked, I said, give me the understanding. Like, it obviously was presented in front of me for a reason. So let me understand it. And if I understand it and you give me that understanding, I will spend the rest of my life sharing it like a ministry. I'm not going to be perfect. I'm human. I mess up. I'm not going to talk eloquently all the time. I have mental illness. Like I have things that I'm plagued with that I have to wrestle with. I'm not a perfect human being. I'm not a superhero. I'm not the upstanding mentor that you have imagined. I'm a real guy with a real life, a real family, and sometimes that family is dysfunctional. My kids don't listen, just like sometimes your kids won't listen to you. And it frustrates me as a father. It frustrates me as a mentor. It frustrates me as a public figure because I would want nothing more than to have all of my children come out there and just run aces on everything and say, here, we're going to continue your legacy, Dad. That would be amazing. And I don't have confidence that that's going to happen. And to me, it's perplexing. Like I don't understand why. Like it should be easy for me to be able to put that together, and it happens. But my kids always tell me this is a lot harder than you make it seem, Dad. Like when you sit down with us and you say what is going to happen, and it happens, it looks real easy, but they can't seem to do it, and it takes time. It takes an investment in time, and a lot of times that's going to be an overwhelming odd for the majority of you. You get tricked into thinking a couple winning trades is equating to skill, and it's not. You got to know what you're doing. And I think I've demonstrated this year that there's a way to do this, and it could be extremely profitable. It could be extremely precise, but it's not easy. It just looks easy because I've been doing it for a long time. But once you know how to get out of your own way and you trust the rules, it is easy. But getting to that point, trusting yourself to get out of your own way and following the rules, that is hard. It is very hard. It takes so much discipline. And I can't articulate it in enough words or emphasis that really grabs the sheer essence of what is required to be in that state of mind, to be this consistent and that dialed in. But you all are capable of becoming that, because if you have not taken this away from being under my wing this far, I've openly admitted that I have several mental illnesses. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not ashamed of it. It is what it is. Anybody that has listened to me long enough knows that I exhibit all these things. If I can do this, there's no reason why you can't. Like you might have one or two things that I say I have and wrestle with. So what? That doesn't mean you can't do this. You may not have money. You may live in a country in Africa. You may be in an impoverished nation. You may have even more disadvantages that I had. It doesn't change the fact that you can do this. It just means you're going to have to work harder than the other people. So don't invite all that kind of stuff with image. If you start making a lot of money with this, keep it to yourself. And some of you might think, oh, you just don't want anybody else getting attention. Okay, try it and see. And once you see how toxic it becomes, it's a drain. Like it's not empowering. Like you have to constantly keep up with an image. What do I got to keep up with? I know how to trade. I can show you another trade every day. I don't need to keep up with the last car I showed I bought. I don't need to keep up with what house somebody else lives in and what house I can afford to buy. I mean, I've already done it this year because, well, I had to set somebody straight. But the point is I don't need to do those things.